Hey Tom, thanks so much for meeting me today to discuss, how our partnership has gone so far in the time that we've worked together. I believe we started working together late October. I think we may have started actually in November, so it's been a few
Mhm.
months now. And before we get into, how your experience has gone, could you just let people, whoever is watching this, know just who you are, what your company is, and what your company does?
For sure. So my company is Diginuiti. We are a paid advertising agency that really specializes in Google advertising, meta advertising, really everything in between. We also do provide business strategy services to our clients.
Is there anything in terms of lead generation that you could share with me about where you guys were before? Like what were you guys doing to generate leads before
Yeah,
working with us?
before working with you guys, it was all word of mouth or going to platforms like Upwork or any other
Mhm.
freelancing platform and trying to get leads that way. Networking was kind of hit or miss, and word of mouth is really what drove most of what provided business for us.
Okay. So obviously cold email isn't like groundbreaking thing. You knew it existed. So is there a reason that cold email wasn't something that you guys had done previously?
Never really heard like the best things about it. Like you always hear the word spam with cold email, so it's like, do I really want to spam people? But seeing other people do it, other agency partners that we work with do it, it kind of made it a little less scary and unknown because we don't really do that for our agency with our clients. So we're very unfamiliar with it.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that makes sense. That's definitely a big thing that people talk about before when it comes to cold email. So you saw like good examples of it from somewhere else, and you were like, why not give it a try, basically?
Mhm. Yeah, and the biggest thing for us is we work with a lot of other agencies, a lot of complementary agencies.
Hmm.
And if someone else is willing to try it and they see good results, it kind of takes away that risk factor. So that's kind of what we've seen with cold email.
Cool, nice. So now that you've done it for 3 months ish, how does it compare to what you expected before trying it out? Like the things that were keeping you from doing it. How has your experience over the last 3 months differed from that?
Well, I think it really stems from understanding the process and understanding how really it isn't spam. It's very deliberate. It's very offer and just understanding your client or who you're trying to target. If it's really allowed us as an agency to understand who do we actually want to work with at the end of the day, because with cold email, you could reach almost anybody. So you have to start getting specific. And as an agency for years, we'd almost work with anybody, which is not a recipe for overall success. So understanding the process of how you develop the emails, how we warm them up, and how we really get them to a point of wanting to have a conversation, that really took a lot of the fear away because it's just like any other approach, any other marketing approach. And once you gain that understanding, it starts to make a lot of sense and you can see the value in it.
Yeah, working together, I've definitely been seeing a transition just from even early in our first conversations, again, only 3 months ago. There was a lot of like, we will work with anybody. And then it seems like things have really started to get dialed in terms of who we're targeting, which isn't usually what people get into cold email for. But it
Mhm.
seems like that's what's been developing. And I've been really excited to see, how we've been honing in who we reach out to. How has that affected, just Diginuiti overall as a company?
Well, it's made it very, very deliberate now because as an agency before, when you get a word of mouth client and maybe they want paid ads, but they also want social media, they want website development, you kind
Mhm.
of find yourself in a slippery case of let me try to provide everything to them. So we have the team for
Right.
everything, which leads to a lot of inefficiency, a lot of missed areas of just efficiency. So with our team, we became really focused on what matters and what drives results for most of our clients, which is paid ads. So working with you, it's kind of allowed us one accountability of we're not just going to work with anybody because if we try to do that, this email marketing thing isn't probably going to work, the cold email. So it's allowed us to get specific, and you've kind of been our accountability partner in a sense of we if we are putting out copy and we're putting out these emails that are specific to getting paid advertising clients, we need to put our money where our mouth is and make sure that we do that. So it's helped provide clarity and just allow us to be more deliberate on our internal structure and our team overall.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So it's not only being more deliberate in terms of who we're targeting, but also in what services you're offering and what you're
Mhm.
focusing on as an agency. And then, of course, the third element to this, which I think is probably not to say it's the other two aren't important, but why we started this partnership to begin with, it's actually getting calls in the calendar with people who may or may not want to be your clients down the line. So how has that gone so far?
It's been a surprise. I came in with zero expectations of how this process was going to go. Really, I wanted to use it as a learning experience of developing our ICP, our niche, but seeing calls come in from people that I was always told that cold email is the hardest form of marketing for your business. So the fact that it is now the leader of where we get most of our calls from is a comfort to know that, okay, if cold email is working so well, if we go into the ones that don't take as much effort or have more of an easier chance of
Mhm.
working, that gives me a lot of confidence moving forward. So the sales calls are great, but the confidence that it provides my business, I'm even more excited for.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I wanted to ask you about in particular, because a lot of people have concerns with cold email, or maybe from past experiences, that they do get calls booked in, but they are just people who kind of show up and don't know what the call is about, or like don't really, they're just not really qualified. In terms of the quality of the leads, because I know, I mean, you're a entrepreneur, you're the founder of Diginuiti, so you don't have the time to just be meeting with people who like have no business being on the call with you. How have the quality of those calls gone for you?
Overall, they've been great. Really, what we've been focused on is pre-qualifying and making sure that we have the right barriers in place to make sure that not everybody just hops on a call, but really being specific. And it's working with you directly in the questions that you ask. If we do our homework and we give you the answers that you need, we're going to get the right people on the calls. If we don't do our homework and we just tell you, go run cold
Right.
email campaign, you're going to get leads, but we didn't help you at all to really refine that. So it's mainly on our end that we need to be specific in who we want because you know what you're doing, you know how to get the calls, but the pre-qualifying and making sure that we're very specific allows us to benefit once we get on those calls that it's already a match and people want to work with you. They're at the right time, right mindset. Now it's just, okay, what can we do in terms of sales to close the deal?
Yeah, that's amazing. So I would definitely, that's something I would want to tell all of our clients to make sure that they have in mind, being able to, because you guys have been amazing at that, just providing me with all of these materials that I have to work with. And then the calls that we have are always some kind of nugget comes out of it of
Mhm.
inspiration. And in my opinion, that has been one of the keys of success in how we're able to come. I feel like every campaign has gotten significantly better because I feel
Mhm.
like I understand exactly why I'm saying something to somebody, and that only comes from speaking with you, speaking with Nicole, and which on the team, and how comprehensive you guys have been and like everything that you've given me to be able to make these happen. So I just wanted to obviously just let you guys know, like you have been a very big part of why this has been working well. So I just want to tell you that now.
Thank you. Yeah.
Finally, if anybody is watching this and they're on the fence about working with us at AxoLeads, what would you tell them?
I would say it's not even take the chance, but you will gain benefit from working with AxoLeads. There's something, and we tell our clients this all the time, is you'll come away with some form of knowledge of value that whether you get 0 leads or 100 leads, it will make you a bit better business owner. It will set your business up for success longer and the long term. You'll have a better idea of where you fit in the market and really who your ideal customer is. So that alone, if you are in this for the long term of being a business owner, you're not trying to make money in the next 20 days or next week. This is a long-term investment as a business owner, and you have to have a long-term mindset. And so Leads is a great partner to have that you can truly bounce ideas off of and have those high-level conversations that are going to hopefully provide value in every other aspect of your business. If it doesn't, you got to open up your mind a little bit because every conversation that I step away from with Sergio and his team, it is one of, okay, we could be doing 10 other things that are improving our position in the market. That alone is worth its value that we have with our partnership. So the sales are kind of a bonus at this point.
Yeah, I love that you see it that way because the sales that is something that, of course, we do our best with with sending out the campaigns, the calls and everything. But a lot of things, there are so many external factors in terms of like seasonality and all of that, but we are always progressing regardless of what's happening in terms of the responses. So I wanted, again, just to thank you for taking the time to have this call with me and sharing your experience with us. I also just want to thank you again for, looking at it this way in terms of this long-term partnership. I just know that Diginuiti as a whole is a company that values long-term plays for yourself as a company, also for your clients, and also with your partnerships. So I think that speaks really highly of you and speaks highly of the company as well. And that's obviously going to mean that you guys are going to do big things down the line.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been great working with you. So we're excited for the future.
Awesome.